Ever since the Capitol Hill riot of early January, several congressional hearings have analysed what exactly happened and what happened to the security that had been assumed to be in place. One of the many questions, once it was clear the Capitol was being stormed, why did it take so long to call for the deployment of the National Guard? On Wednesday, Donald Trump's defense secretary suggested he was worried that if troops were called in, there'd be confusion as to which side they were on, Congress or the rioters.
I want to remind you and the American public that during that time there was irresponsible commentary by the media about a possible military coup, or that advisors to the president were advocating the declaration of martial law.
We're going to the Capitol.
Miller has contended that Trump's election fraud claims did contribute to the riot. Yet elsewhere on Capitol Hill, the number 3 Republican in the House, Liz Cheney, was being kicked out of her leadership position by members of her party for her failure to back exactly that claim. She vowed revenge.
I will do everything I can to ensure that the former president never again gets anywhere near the Oval Office.
The storming of the Capitol has focused attention on the threat of white supremacy in the US. For years, federal agencies have warned that it was right-wing groups that posed the biggest domestic terror threat, yet money and resources were funneled instead into surveilling and arresting racial minorities and those fighting for civil liberties. The Biden administration has promised a recalibration.
Is it still your assessment that white supremacist extremists are the most lethal threat we face in the homeland today?
Mr. Chairman, I do believe that the intelligence reflects the fact that indeed that is the case.
And do you agree?
I do, and that's the most recent assessment of the FBI.
Civil rights groups welcome the change of focus, but are concerned that it will be used to expand current laws that already allow for widespread surveillance of US citizens and to create new domestic terrorism designations and databases.
We're worried that the reaction is going to entrench frameworks that have been used against Black and Brown communities, and there's not going to be a prioritization of white nationalist violence in the way that we think is necessary.
That the Trump supporters were planning something significant on Capitol Hill had been telegraphed for weeks, if not months, on social media. There was no need for any extra domestic surveillance. Yet civil liberties groups fear that the riots that ensued will now be used as a pretext for even deeper supervision of the views of all US citizens. Shihab, Rattansi, Al Jazeera, Capitol Hill.